first up is the zipper overlay zipper. And what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna take my ruler, line it up on the center, on the back of the zipper overlay. I already cut it out for you. Trying to save some time. I have 1/8 inch double-sided tape. I have it marked where the center is. I'm going to line that up with the center. I got it down about 1.5 inches. I'm going to lay that there like so. Take this off. Then I'm going to take this double-sided tape 1/8 inch off on this side. And so there we go. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna stitch all the way around the outside edges with a top stitch, okay? First step, no back stitching. Let me see if I can take it over here so you can see it a little closer. Let's see if you can see. All right, here we go. We start on the bottom. No back stitching. Stitch length set at 5. So on the outside edge. When you get to the corner, you go slow and turn, slow and turn. You can move the wheel by hand, like I'm doing this just to show you how it can go by hand. Keep your foot on the pedal. Hopefully you can see me. Yep, I think you can. Outside corner, slow turn, slow turn, 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 turn. One more stitch, yep, one more stitch. Double check, perfect. Bring that up, cut, and there we go. Now we're gonna pull the threads to the back, pull them back like so. Pull them through. And pull the other one through. Okay, and now we're gonna knot it. I'll try to get this so you can see me knotting them. There we go. Knot it again. Okay. And this is what it looks like. Push this away. All right, there it is. Now, I am going to move this back. All right, there we go. So now what I'm gonna do is cut this away here, and we're gonna place the zipper. I've already put the zipper tab on. It's a little long, it's okay. So I'm gonna cut away like so. These are duckbill scissors. Just trim this. I like these because you can control where, whoops, someone's at the door, hang on. Okay, I'm back. Cut this away. This is probably the longest video I will have ever done because I've never done like a whole section of the bag. Okay, so there we have that. Now I'm going to take the 1/8 inch double-sided tape. Going to put this along the bottom here. Like so, and along the top, trying to get it so you can see, like so. Okay. I'm making a mess everywhere. All right, and I like the pull to the left. Get it centered. There we go, got that. Now I'm going to get the pocket. All right, so I've cut the pocket. This pocket is 8 inches wide by just about 14 inches long. Perfectly square. It's really important to get it square. All right, again, we're gonna take more of this, put it right down here at the bottom. Like so. Got it? This is what the pocket's going to stick to. Okay. Now, this goes right side down. Put it right along so it covers that previous seam, like this. So when you stitch it, you see how it goes? Like that. All right, now we're going to stitch right along this edge, this bottom edge. Stitch length at 5. Gosh, you know what? I have a hunch I should check my bobbin. Whenever you're top stitching, it's a good idea to check your bobbin. We're okay right now, but I will need to be adding thread to it pretty soon. Probably okay for the zipper. Okay, here we go. Now, we want to start with just enough over this edge so that when we come up on this side, they meet. No, no back stitching. So, here we go. 1/8 of an inch. 1/8 of an inch over. That's what you're gonna need. There we go. And you're going to stitch 1/8 of an inch over on the other side as well. Move the zipper tab out of the way. Over. Now we take the thread, pull the thread back, we're going to knot it, pull it to the wrong side, pull it to the wrong side, and knot. Okay, now I take a little bit of this double-sided tape and put it right here. You could use a 1/4 inch down here. This is 1/8 inch. This keeps this in place. Bring it down. You see how it pulls it and keeps it down. And now we're going to put it up here along this top line. I use a lot of double-sided tape. And then this comes up here like so. Line it up along this edge. Cover the stitching. Like so. A straight line. Now we're going to come up along this edge, over the top and down. And you want to put it right in the same spot where the last stitch ended at the bottom. Okay? 1/8 of an inch over. 1/8 of an inch. There you go. Okay, get this out of the way. And then 1/8 of an inch over on this edge. And go down. Let's see, lift this up, go right in the last hole from the last one. There we go. Okay, pull it to the back, pull the thread through, and same with this one. Pull it through. And knot. I leave a little extra. I mean, I don't trim these threads because it's hand knotted. You can see that I leave a little bit extra. I think a lot of others do the same thing. All right, now bring the stitch length back down to 3 to 4, and now I'm going to stitch, I don't know, 1/4 inch, 3/8 of an inch, get these seams sewn up on the side of the pocket. Clip off the excess zipper on each side. And boy, that went right onto the floor. And there you have it. The zipper overlay is complete. And there's the back side. And we got some threads to cut. Go. Very pretty. All right, now we're going to do the slip pocket for the other side. I'll be back. Okay, so the slip pocket, I think I do it a little bit different than many others. So this one, oh, let me get my tape. So I cut these out to fit a cell phone. So let me tell you, this is going to be about 7.5 inches wide by, what is this, 10 inches long. And then I take and I measure 1 inch and 1 inch on each side. And you can see how I do some 1/8 inch double-sided tape. And I bring this side in. Oh, excuse me. If you hear that bunch of howling, it's super windy today here. All right, so then, and you see how I just fold this along the line? Like so. All right. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring them together like so, so the edge is in. So then there's no folding right sides together. So the seam is going to be inside there. So that way we get a nice crisp edge. So it'll be like this and like this. All right. And this and this. And then what I do is I have the same exterior that I use for the zipper overlay is the top of the pocket. So it's encased. All right, so what I do here is I cut this piece 1 1/4 inch. And so I measure 1/2 inch down here. And I lay this right across this. Okay, and then I cover this like so. So it's encased inside that. There we go. It's encased inside the leather. All right. So this side is a little bit longer. That's why I make it 1 1/4 inch. So then this is on the back, and then this will be cased inside the leather. All right, like so. Now we're going to stitch along this edge. Stitch length at 5. straight up there and straight down here. Okay. All right, now the rest of the work on this lining is going to be done on my domestic machine, so I'll meet you back at the domestic machine. Okay, now I've got the slip pocket in place. And the way that I do this is I measure, of course I've got this centered here, and I've got this notched out. And then I measure this down equal distance. I find the center of the pocket here, and I line the center up with this. What I do is usually just fold it in half and I get a crease line. And then I've measured it equal distance from here to here. And then I just take these two long pins and I pin this in place, because generally my lining is something that I can pin. If not, I'll take a little bit of double-sided tape and I'll tape it in place. And then I verify the distance is even here to this side. And then I'll also measure it along the bottom and verify that that's all the same as well. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and stitch this. I do not stitch through the leather. This is going to be riveted in the corners, and I'll stitch along this edge, along the bottom, and up the top. And I get a really clean, clean line. I'm going to take off the clips. It's been clipped in place, and this just pretty much is held down by these two pins. So I have stitched along this edge. Now I'm going to do the two holes in the top of this, and I'll be doing the rivets in that, and I'll show you that. All right, so I have a board that I use, and I punch my holes manually because this just works for me. So I've marked the spot where I'm going to put the rivets. And I'll put this in place. This is for palette. Each side. And it has, oops, not gone through. There we go. Make sure it goes through. Yep. These are 8mm rivets. There we go. Make sure you have the right size die here, and I'm going to put it in my die press. Can't see it properly. There we go. Okay. And there we have it. That is done. Now we will continue on with the, I believe we got the gusset of the bag next. Okay, now I have pinned the gusset to the one of the sides of the lining back, one of the lining back, sorry. And what I do is I have the gusset side up and I pin it around. I've matched the centers and I've matched the tops. Then when I get to the curved edge, I make little tiny clips. The seam allowance is 1/4 of an inch. So I make little tiny clips along that curved edge within that 1/4 inch. And I clip it, not clip, but I clip it all the way around. And now I'm going to sew it, and I'm going to start at 1/4 inch. Since the seam allowance is 1/4 inch, I want this to be 1/4 inch up at the top, and then I'm going to go about 3/8 of an inch the rest of the way so that the lining fits snugly. I'm pretty sure I'm going to do a drop-in lining on this. Please note that I have drawn a line at 1 inch. That's why I think I'm going to do a drop-in. Pretty sure. So that I'm going to put double-sided tape, and this is going to get folded down. So when I do my drop-in, that I'll show you later. But I've already pre-drawn that line on the lining. You just want to make sure that if you use regular ink pen that it does not bleed through to the right side. So let's go ahead. I'm going to get this sewn starting at 1/4 inch. And then work my way into 3/8 of an inch. I think this gusset's a little big, yeah, because I can see it's going a little long, but that's okay. If it shows up on the other side a little long, you can just clip it off. I think it might fit. No, it looks like it's going to fit. That's why it's really important to work with the gusset piece on top, and then you can play and move this clipped area. You can manipulate it and make sure that you're lining up the raw edges evenly. Beautiful. So, always want to make sure that on your corners that you don't have any puckers, any pleating, and it lined up really well. So I'm going to do the same thing for the other side, and I'll be back. Okay, so I have turned under the top edge of this, and I've clipped it. I'm going to sit here and do this for the lining while, oh, wait, I need my glasses. All right, sit here and do this with me. While I turn it down, see, I've got it marked. So I'm just going to turn it down along that edge. Now, all right, so what I've done here is I've got the seams turned in on the lining, and I have them turned out on the bag instead of turning them open. I'm sorry. You could turn them open. God, what is wrong with me? To me, it's 6 of one and a half a dozen of the other. Right along this edge. So sticky. You could press this. But I happen to be a fan of double-sided tape. Right here. There. And both these go in. Making sure I have it right along that line so it's exact. And exact. Okay. All right, now I have the lining. The inside is out. And now I have the right side of the bag out. And I'm going to place the zipper overlay side on the back side. And I'm gonna see, let's see if I can tilt this up. And I'm going to fit this inside of this ever so carefully. This is going to go down inside of this bag. And now this is the part that's so important, is to have this clipped along this edge. Keep dropping it. So what I'm going to do is start clipping this so that it's clipped evenly. And I'm going to start with matching the seams. Lining it up and matching the seams. Actually, I told you wrong. What a joke. This goes on the inside. What am I doing? What am I doing? Because I got to stitch. Ah! Psych! This goes right side out. Good Lord. I bet you all watching me like, what is she doing? I'm used to sewing wrong sides together. Okay, now we're gonna do it. This goes on the inside. This is a drop-in lining, not right sides together, like so. I'm sorry. And I really need to, it is. There we go. We're trying to get, y'all think I must be crazy. Okay, so the right side is on the inside. It goes on the inside of the bag. Inside of the bag. Okay, so I'm putting the, like I originally said, you're gonna have wrong sides together. Are we paying attention here? All right. And I put the zipper overlay in the back of the bag. Got it? Girls and boys. There we go. Like so. You know, I've been mixing up my bags, doing some of them with a drop-in lining, some of them not. I had myself screwed up. That's why it's easy to do it this way. So there you go. You're looking in the bag like a normal bag. And now you're gonna line up your seams. This is why I usually do this stuff off camera, because I'm trying to figure out what the schnitzel I'm doing. What is she doing? My God, that doesn't look right. Oh, Renee. You know. All right. And then what I do is I line it up, and then I'm going to go back over it. Clearly, I'm not to be trusted. I gotta love it. Gotta love it. Did I ever tell you the story about the time I was working with a friend of mine? We had a business where we made these really cool sweatshirts. We were way ahead of our time. And what were we doing? We were making sweatshirts and sweatpants, and we were putting the legs into the armhole openings instead of the other. I mean, it was just, we were watching soap operas while we were sewing. Word for the wise. Pay attention. Don't watch soap operas while you're sewing. That was back in the, shoot, had to be back in the 80s. Okay. All right. And you know, I fit this bag before I sewed it, and the lining feels a little loose, but I think I can make it work. Yeah. Gotta make it work. Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to do some final fitting, but this is basically how it's going to fit. I could make it tighter if I wanted to, and I may tighten it up a bit on the inside. And I'll be back and show you how I've got it final fit. Okay, I'm back. So I've got it all clipped in now properly. God, I hope so. So now I'm at my Thor 1341 cylinder arm, and I'm going to put on my glasses, and I am going to top stitch this down. I got the stitch length set at 5, and I'm going to start from the back. And as you know, I've got an edge foot on here. This is the I think this might be a 1/4 inch edge foot or an 1/8 inch. Let's see what I got here. This is probably a 1/4 inch edge foot. No, it looks like it's, yeah, it's gonna give me an 1/8 inch though, believe it or not. So let's get going. Yeah, this is gonna give me an 1/8 inch. I hope I do okay with this. The biggest thing is getting that lining included as you're top stitching. That's why you need it to sit right there up against the edge. I haven't used any double stick tape on this either, just as an FYI. And I use this edge of the edge foot right along that edge so I get a straight line. Fingers crossed. I'm top stitching with a light gray thread, which is what I've used for all the top stitching. No need to rush. Take your time. And don't forget to breathe. Have you ever held your breath while you're doing this top stitching? Oh God, look at that, a broken clip, imagine that. All right, so this is where, especially on these seams, this is where this lining on the wants to fall down. So I hold it right there, hold it in place, go over your seam. There we go. When you're working with leather or heavy vinyl, you might want to even use binder clips for this. Then your clips won't break. Okay, so far so good. I'm going to take this right up to the end. Check this to see that it's in the last stitch. It is. Okay, I'm going to pull it out. All right. Check to make I caught the lining all the way around. I did. Actually, it looks pretty darn good. I'm happy with it. And the stitching on the outside is even. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull the threads through on this side onto the inside. All right. Pull the loop through. Let's see if I can do this. So that both of them come through on the inside. And then I'm going to take a needle and pull them in through here, and then I'm going to knot them so that you don't see them. I'll see if I can get that on film. Yeah, I'll be back. Okay, hope I can show you this as best I can. I already did 2 threads because I didn't do all 4 threads together. So you take like a doll needle or a needle with a big eye in it. And I've got, of course I can't thread. I guess I should have threaded the needle first so you get to see me thread a needle. All right, so remember we pulled both threads through to the inside. So then what you're gonna do is you've got that and you bring them up through here. And of course I unknotted it, okay. Crap, all right, so you bring them, all right, both of them. You bring both of them through. Bear with me. I'm gonna re-thread it. You know, I never can do this just right. You get to see, this is how it's really done. My videos are never perfect. So this is real world. Okay, here we go. So then now I brought it through in between the lining and the exterior, right? And then now what we're gonna do is we're gonna knot it here, okay? A couple times through. I'm gonna knot it right here. And then we're gonna bring it down. I can't bring it down directly into it, but I'm gonna bring it down the best I can in between. So what I do is I bring it down in between, like so. Can you see what I'm doing? Is I bring it down in between, like so, and I'm gonna pull it out. I need needle nose pliers here. Normally it pulls right through, but of course since I'm doing it on film, oh my goodness. Okay, here we go. Got it. There we go. I'm gonna pull it through. That way you can't see it. And then we're gonna clip this out right here. And that way you can't see it. And it's gone, just like that. All right, so then it's gone. The knot's gone down inside. And on the outside, you don't have any back stitching. You get a professional finish. No back stitching. No back stitching on your top stitching. And that's it. Well, this is officially the longest video I've done to date. So, next up is gonna be the strap that I've made that goes with the bag. Super excited for that. I know y'all have been interested in it. And it's done with this little die, and I have since purchased a die press because I cut my finger open. But I'm probably going to show you how I did it with the conventional way with the mallet. So yeah, so working on that next. And I appreciate all of you if you've had enough patience to sit through this crazy video. It was a lot of work, and I'll see you next time.